Face me if you're brave enough. Aisha Carter, a waitress scraping by, hurled that challenge at Victoria Langley, a CEO dripping with entitlement. One night at the Sapphire Room, a lie and a vicious slap turned Aisha's life upside down. Her bold stand, filmed and shared, birthed Cure Your Stand with Aisha, igniting a movement against unchecked power. But defiance brought danger. Threats targeted her brother's fragile health, pushing her limits. Would Aisha's courage outlast a mogul's wrath, or would it break her? Join us for a gripping story of heart and rebellion, where one voice sparks a revolution. Where are you catching this epic fight today? Drop your location in the comments. We'd love to know. If Aisha's story lights a fire in you, subscribe to our channel for more tales of bravery. Let's keep this momentum going. Aisha Carter balanced a tray of champagne flutes, her white uniform gleaming under the chandelier light of the Sapphire Room's bustling banquet hall. Her heart thudded, not from the weight of the tray, but from the hospital bill for Tyson's treatment, a number that haunted her every shift. She wove through the crowd of tuxedos and gowns, flashing a practiced smile when a sharp voice cut through the chatter. "You ruined my dress!" Victoria Langley stood, her red gown a blazing contrast to the spilled champagne dripping down its front. She pointed at Aisha, eyes narrowed, though Aisha stood 5 meters away, tray steady. The room hushed, forks pausing midair. Aisha's pulse raced. "Ma'am, I wasn't near your table," she said, voice clear but tight. Gasps rippled through the guests. No one talked back to Victoria Langley, the tech CEO whose name made boardrooms tremble. Victoria's face twisted. "You're calling me a liar?" She stepped closer, heels clicking, and slapped Aisha hard across the cheek. The sting burned, and Aisha's tray wobbled but didn't fall. "Fire her now," Victoria demanded, turning to the stunned staff. Aisha touched her cheek, the heat spreading, but her eyes locked on Victoria's. She wouldn't look away. Lila Brooks, in a matching white uniform with a teal scarf, rushed to Aisha's side, whispering, "Girl, you just stirred up trouble." Aisha swallowed, steadying her breath. "I'm not letting her lie." In the corner, Savannah Holt, her gold dress shimmering, discreetly aimed her phone, capturing every second. She uploaded the video with a caption, "Power can't handle the truth." Within minutes, notifications buzzed as an Waitress stand with Aisha began to trend. Lila guided Aisha to a staff alcove, her voice low. "Victoria's not just rich, she's vicious. You sure about this?" Aisha's cheek throbbed, but she nodded. "I didn't do anything wrong." The banquet resumed, but whispers lingered. Aisha returned to her duties, ignoring the stares, her mind replaying Victoria's slap. She served a table, forcing a smile, when her phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. "You'll pay for this." Her stomach knotted, but she shoved the phone into her pocket. As the night wound down, Aisha cleared glasses, her white uniform still crisp despite the chaos. Lila caught her eye, offering a small nod. "You held your ground. That's something." Aisha managed a half smile, but the weight of the text pressed on her. She stepped into the parking lot, the air cool against her burning cheek. Headlights flashed and a car engine purred too close. Aisha froze, gripping her keys as the vehicle idled, then sped off into the dark. Her breath caught, and she sprinted to a shadowed corner, heart pounding. Lila's voice called from the staff exit. "Aisha, you good?" Aisha leaned against the wall, clutching her phone, the unknown text glowing on the screen. "I don't know," she said, voice shaking, "but I'm not running." Aisha Carter balanced a tray of champagne flutes, her white uniform catching the chandelier's glow as she moved through the crowded banquet hall of the Sapphire Room. Her heart thudded, not from the tray's weight, but from Tyson's latest hospital bill, a number that shadowed every step. She flashed a practiced smile, dodging tuxedos and gowns, when a sharp voice sliced through the hum of conversation. "You ruined my dress!" Victoria Langley stood, her red gown a stark canvas for the champagne dripping down its front. She jabbed a finger at Aisha, eyes blazing, though Aisha stood 5 meters away, tray steady. The room froze, forks hovering, glasses paused mid-sip. Aisha's pulse surged. "Ma'am, I wasn't near your table," she said, voice clear but taut. Gas rippled through the guests. Nobody challenged Victoria Langley. the tech CEO whose name silenced boardrooms. Victoria's face contorted. "You're calling me a liar?" She stepped closer, heels clicking like gunfire, and slapped Aisha across the cheek. The sting seared, and Aisha's tray wobbled but held. "Fire her now!" Victoria snapped, glaring at the staff hovering nearby. Aisha touched her cheek, heat spreading, but her eyes locked onto Victoria's. She wouldn't flinch. Lila Brooks, in a white uniform with a teal scarf, darted to Aisha's side. "Girl, you just stirred up a storm," she whispered, tugging Aisha's arm. "I'm not letting her lie," Aisha said, voice low but firm. In a corner, Savannah Holt, her gold dress shimmering, angled her phone discreetly, capturing every second. She uploaded the video with a caption, "Power can't handle the truth." Notifications buzzed as our Stand with Aisha began trending. Lila pulled Aisha into a staff alcove. The clatter of the banquet muffled behind them. "Victoria's not just rich. She's vicious," Lila said, her voice urgent. "You sure you want to play this game?" Aisha's cheek throbbed, but she nodded. "I didn't do anything wrong." The banquet resumed, conversations buzzing with whispers of the scene. Aisha returned to her duties, ignoring curious stares, her mind replaying Victoria's slap. She served a table, pouring wine with steady hands, when her phone vibrated in her pocket. She slipped into a hallway, checking the screen, a text from an unknown number. "You'll pay for this." Her stomach twisted, but she shoved the phone away. As the night wound down, Aisha cleared glasses, her white uniform still crisp despite the chaos. Lila caught her eye across the room, offering a small nod. "You held your ground. That's something," she said, stacking plates beside Aisha. "Doesn't feel like it," Aisha admitted, her cheek still warm. "That text, what's she gonna do?" Lila's jaw tightened. "Whatever it is, you're not facing it alone." Aisha forced a half smile, but the weight of the message lingered. She finished her shift, swapping her tray for a coat, and stepped into the parking lot. The air was cool, sharp against her burning cheek. She scanned the lot, keys in hand, when headlights flared. A car engine purred too close, creeping along the asphalt. Aisha froze, gripping her keys as the vehicle idled, its tinted windows reflecting the streetlights. Her breath caught, and she backed toward a shadowed corner, heart hammering. The car revved, then peeled out, tires screeching into the night. Aisha pressed against the wall, pulse racing, when Lila's voice called from the staff exit. "Aisha, you good out there?" Aisha clutched her phone, the unknown text glowing on the screen. "I don't know," she said, stepping into the light, voice shaking but resolute. "But I'm not running." She glanced at the lot, now empty, and tightened her grip on her keys. The video was out there, spreading like wildfire, and Victoria's text promised trouble. Aisha squared her shoulders, her white coat catching the moonlight. Whatever came next, she'd face it head-on. Aisha Carter slumped onto her couch, the apartment's dim light casting shadows on her white dress. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, notifications piling up from the viral video. She scrolled, heart sinking at the comments. She's just after clout. Others called her brave, but the hate stung more. Her cheek still ached from Victoria's slap, a dull reminder of the night's chaos. She tossed the phone aside, rubbing her temples, when it vibrated again. An email from City General Hospital glowed on the screen. "Urgent. $10,000 due for Tyson Carter's treatment or services will be terminated." Her stomach dropped. She dialed the hospital, fingers trembling. "This is Aisha Carter, about my brother's bill." The clerk's voice was calm. "No such notice exists, ma'am. Your account's clear." Aisha exhaled, but dread lingered. The email wasn't real. Before she could process it, a text from an unknown number flashed. "Back off, or your brother's next." Aisha's breath hitched. She checked the locks, peering through the blinds. The street outside was quiet, but her pulse raced. Tyson's cough echoed from his room, weak but steady. She crept to his door, finding him asleep, hoodie crumpled beside his pillow. Her phone buzzed again, Lila's name lighting up. "You holding up?" Lila asked, voice soft. "Barely," Aisha admitted, sinking back onto the couch. Some fake hospital email, then a text threatening Tyson. "They're not playing." Lila's tone sharpened. "That's Victoria's style. She doesn't fight fair." "I know," Aisha said, "but I can't just roll over." "You don't have to," Lila replied. "You've got people in your corner." Aisha managed a faint smile, but the text words burned in her mind. She ended the call, checking Tyson's door again, her white dress catching the hallway's faint glow. Morning brought her back to the sapphire room, the clatter of dishes a stark contrast to last night's tension. She tied on her white uniform, teal scarf neat, when the temporary manager, a wiry man with a pinched face, cornered her near the kitchen. Langley's people called, he said, arms crossed. Apologize publicly, or you're done here. Aisha's jaw tightened. I didn't spill anything. She lied. Doesn't matter, he snapped. Her money keeps this place running. Lila, wiping a table nearby, shot Aisha a look. Don't let him push you, she mouthed. Aisha squared her shoulders. I'm not apologizing for something I didn't do. The manager scoffed, stalking off. Lila slid beside her, whispering, You're tougher than I was. I took crap from customers for years. Kept quiet to save my job. Not me, Aisha said, voice firm. Not anymore. Lila grinned, but the weight of the manager's threat lingered. Aisha served her tables, smile forced, when her phone pinged during a break. Another text. You were warned. Attached was a photo of Tyson at the hospital, taken from a distance, his hoodie unmistakable. Her hands shook, the tray nearly slipping. She ducked into the staff room, calling the hospital again. Has anyone been near my brother? She asked, voice cracking. No visitors, ma'am, the nurse assured her. He's fine. Aisha exhaled, but fear coiled tighter. She forwarded the photo to Lila, who called instantly. This is messed up, Lila said. You need to show this to someone, like the cops. I don't know if that'll help, Aisha said, pacing. Victoria's got reach. Then we find someone she can't touch, Lila insisted. You're not alone in this. Aisha nodded, though her chest felt heavy. She slipped her phone away, returning to her shift, pouring coffee with steady hands despite the storm inside. The photo of Tyson looped in her mind, each detail sharper than the last. She cleared a table, stacking plates, when a customer waved her over, a woman in a sleek blazer. You're the girl from the video, she said, eyes curious. That took guts. Aisha forced a smile. Just doing my job. The woman leaned closer. Keep it up. People like her need to be called out. Aisha nodded, warmth flickering amidst her fear. She finished her shift, untying her scarf when Lila caught her at the exit. We'll figure this out, Lila said, squeezing her arm. You're not backing down, and neither am I. Aisha stepped into the evening air, her white uniform swapped for a coat. She scanned the parking lot, half expecting headlights, but it was empty. Her phone buzzed as she reached her car. Another unknown text. Check your door tonight. Aisha froze, keys digging into her palm. She glanced back at the sapphire room, Lila's silhouette still visible through the glass. Whatever Victoria had planned, Aisha wasn't running. Aisha Carter pushed through the staff door of the sapphire room, her white blouse catching the morning light. Her hands still shook from last night's text. Check your door tonight. And the photo of Tyson pinned to her fridge with a note. You were warned. She'd barely slept, but she tied on her uniform, teal scarf neat, and headed to her station. The clink of coffee cups and chatter of early patrons filled the air. Lila Brooks, wiping down a table, caught her eye. You look like you saw a ghost, Lila said, her white uniform crisp. Aisha slid her phone over, showing the photo. Found this on my door. They're not bluffing. Lila's jaw tightened. This is next level. You need help, Aisha. Someone who knows how to dig. Before Aisha could respond, a man in a brown leather jacket leaned against the counter. Heard you're in a bind, he said, voice low. Name's Marcus Reed. Lila called me. His eyes scanned the room, sharp but calm. Aisha hesitated, glancing at Lila, who nodded. He's good, Aisha. Used to take down corporate types like your friend in the red dress. Marcus slid into a booth, motioning Aisha to sit. Victoria Langley's got a trail, he said, keeping his voice down. Lawsuits for stealing client data, hushed up with cash. She's not untouchable. He tapped a USB drive on the table. This has emails tying her to some shady deals. Could be your leverage. Aisha's pulse quickened. Why help me? You don't even know me. Marcus leaned back. Let's just say I don't like bullies. Plus, Lila vouches for you. Aisha pocketed the USB, her mind racing. She returned to serving, pouring coffee for a couple, when her phone buzzed. A message from Savannah Holt. Meet me at the cafe across the street. Your story's bigger than you think. Aisha frowned, remembering Savannah's video that sparked Worst Stand with Aisha. She texted back, 1 hour. At the cafe, Savannah, in a gold dress that turned heads, waved Aisha over. I was at the gala, she said, stirring her latte. Saw what Langley did. I've been where you are. Called out a boss who crossed a line. Got shut down. Your fight's worth telling. Aisha, still in her white blouse, sipped her water. Telling it might cost me more than I can pay. They're after my brother. Savannah's eyes softened. That's why we go bigger. I'm a journalist. One interview and we can blow this wide open. Aisha gripped her glass, torn. I need to think about it. Back at the Sapphire Room, James Whitaker, in a gray vest, summoned Aisha to his office. The space was sparse, just a desk and a screen showing security footage. I saw the tape from the gala, he said, voice gruff. You're in the clear. Langley's not bullying my staff. He leaned forward. You need anything? Legal? Security? You tell me. Aisha exhaled, relief mixing with fear. Thank you, sir. It's a lot. You've got spine, James said. Don't lose it. Lila pulled Aisha aside during a lull, her teal scarf slightly askew. We're not letting Langley win, she said, organizing a staff huddle. Who's got a story? A young waiter, barely 20, spoke up. Last month, a guy grabbed me, laughed it off. I didn't say anything. Aisha met his eyes. You're not alone now. The huddle buzzed, voices overlapping as others shared rude comments, withheld tips, and worse. Lila clapped her hands. Aisha's fight is ours. No more staying quiet. Aisha's chest warmed, but the USB in her pocket felt heavy. She served her last table, clearing plates, when her phone pinged. Another text from Victoria. Your brother's hospital stay can end fast. Her hands froze, a glass nearly slipping. She bolted to the hospital, the white blouse clinging to her skin as she ran. Tyson sat in his bed, hoodie loose, playing a game on his phone. Sis, you okay? He asked, coughing lightly. Aisha forced a smile. Yeah, just checking in. A nurse approached, her expression odd. Someone asked about Tyson this morning. No ID. We sent him away. Aisha's blood ran cold. She kissed Tyson's forehead, whispering, You're safe. But as she left, her phone buzzed again. A photo of Tyson through the hospital window. She gripped the railing, breath shallow, and dialed Lila. They're watching him, she said, voice cracking. Lila's voice was steady. We've got your back. Come to the restaurant tomorrow. We're sorting this. Aisha tucked her phone away, the hospital's sterile hall stretching before her. She straightened, her white blouse a beacon in the dim light, and stepped toward the exit. Victoria's threats were closing in, but Aisha wasn't folding. Aisha Carter stepped into the studio, her teal dress catching the soft glow of overhead lights. Her heart pounded, but she smoothed her skirt and met Savannah Holt's gaze. Savannah, in a gold dress that shimmered with every move, adjusted a microphone. You ready to shake things up? She asked, her voice warm but urgent. Aisha nodded, though her stomach twisted. Let's do this. She settled into a chair, the camera's red light blinking on. Savannah leaned forward. Tell me what happened at the Sapphire Room. Aisha's voice steadied as she spoke. I was serving, doing my job, when Victoria Langley blamed me for spilling her drink. She slapped me, called me a liar. I wasn't near her table. Her fingers tightened around the chair's edge. I just wanted to be heard. Savannah's eyes softened. And now you are. The interview wrapped up, and Savannah uploaded it within hours. By noon, your Shorn Stand with Aisha surged, racking up millions of views. Aisha, back in her white uniform at the Sapphire Room, felt her phone buzz nonstop. Messages of support, but also venomous comments accusing her of faking it. She shoved the phone into her pocket, focusing on pouring coffee for a table. Lila Brooks, her teal scarf slightly crooked, rallied the staff in the break room. Aisha's out there fighting, she said, hands on her hips. We've all taken heat from customers. Rude remarks, cheap tips. It's time we push back. A waiter shared how a guest mocked his accent. A hostess admitted to dodging unwanted touches. Leela clapped. Aisha's spark lit this. Let's keep it burning. Aisha, clearing plates nearby, felt a swell of pride. We're not invisible anymore, she said, meeting their eyes. The group nodded, a quiet resolve settling in. James Whitaker, in a navy vest, called a press conference in the restaurant's main hall. Aisha stood beside him, her white uniform crisp as cameras flashed. The Sapphire Room stands for respect, James said, voice firm. No one disrespects my team and walks away clean. He announced a new program to protect staff, his gaze steady. Aisha's got our full support. Legal, whatever she needs. Aisha's throat tightened. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice lost in the applause. Back at her station, Aisha served a table when her phone pinged. A message from Savannah. Found emails. Langley's been forcing unpaid overtime. Sending to Marcus. Aisha's pulse quickened. She texted back, "Keep digging." The evidence was piling up, but so was the risk. By evening, a process server in a cheap suit approached Aisha mid-shift. "Aisha Carter?" He handed her a thick envelope. "You've been served." The papers detailed a lawsuit from Victoria Langley claiming reputational damage and demanding $500,000. Aisha's hands shook, the words blurring. Lila grabbed her arm. "What's this?" "Victoria's suing me," Aisha said, voice hollow. "She's trying to bury me." James, overhearing, snatched the papers. "She's not getting away with this," he said, jaw set. "I'm calling my lawyer. We fight this." Lila pulled the staff together, her voice fierce. "We're not letting Aisha face this alone." They drafted a letter of support, vowing to stand by her, and sent it to a local news outlet. Aisha read their words. "She's one of us, and we're with her," and blinked back tears. "You didn't have to do this," she said. "We wanted to," Lila replied, squeezing her shoulder. Aisha finished her shift, swapping her uniform for a white coat. She stepped into the cool night, the lawsuit heavy in her bag. Her phone buzzed, a text from Victoria. "Drop this, or your brother pays." Aisha's breath caught, but she kept walking, her coat catching the streetlights. At the restaurant's entrance, Victoria stood, her red dress stark against the glass doors. "You're nothing, Aisha," she said, voice low and venomous. "Drop this now, or I'll crush you." Aisha stopped, her eyes locking onto Victoria's. "I'm not scared of you," she said, voice steady despite her racing heart. A few patrons nearby clapped, their murmurs of support echoing. Victoria's face twisted, and she stormed off, heels clicking furiously. Aisha exhaled, but the victory felt fragile. As she reached her car, Lila texted, "Proud of you. We've got this." Aisha smiled faintly, but her phone buzzed again. Another envelope, this time slipped under her windshield wiper. She tore it open, finding a legal notice. The lawsuit's first hearing was in a week. Her hands trembled, but she stuffed the papers into her bag. Victoria was coming for her, but Aisha wasn't backing down. Aisha Carter sank onto her apartment couch, her white coat slipping to the floor. The lawsuit papers from Victoria Langley lay scattered on the coffee table. Their words, $500,000 reputational damage, burning in her mind. Her phone buzzed, and she flinched, expecting another threat. Instead, it was a bank alert. Account accessed, $200 withdrawn. A second message followed from an unknown number. From Ms. Langley, sign the apology or Tyson's next. Aisha's chest tightened. She logged into her account, hands shaking, and saw unauthorized transactions draining her savings. The screen blurred as panic set in. She dialed her bank, voice sharp. "Someone's hacking my account. Freeze it now." The clerk promised to investigate, but the damage was done. Aisha paced, her teal dress catching the dim light, and checked Tyson's room. He slept, hoodie tangled in his sheets, unaware of the storm. Her phone rang. Lila Brooks. "You okay?" Lila asked, voice thick with concern. "Heard about the lawsuit." "It's worse," Aisha said, voice cracking. "They hacked my account, threatened Tyson again." "That's low, even for Langley," Lila said. "You gotta fight this, Aisha. We're behind you." Aisha exhaled, Lila's words a lifeline. "I'm trying," she said, "but it's heavy." She hung up, sinking back onto the couch when Tyson shuffled in, rubbing his eyes. "Sis, why are you up?" he asked, his hoodie loose. He spotted the papers and frowned. "What's all this?" Aisha forced a smile. "Just work stuff. Go back to bed." But Tyson sat beside her, pulling out a sketchbook. He flipped to a drawing of Aisha in white armor, glowing under a spotlight. "You're my hero," he said, voice soft. "I stood up to a kid at school today, 'cause of you." Aisha's throat tightened, tears pricking her eyes. "You're braver than me, Ty," she said, hugging him. His words reignited her resolve. She tucked him in, then texted Savannah Holt. "I'm ready. Use the evidence." Savannah called instantly. "You sure?" she asked, her gold dress rustling in the background. "This'll make Langley furious." "Let her be," Aisha said, voice steady. "I'm done hiding." Savannah confirmed she'd sent Marcus Reed's USB, emails proving Victoria's illegal deals, to an FBI contact. "Stay safe," she warned. This is big. Aisha nodded, though fear gnawed at her. She slipped into the sapphire room for her shift, white uniform crisp, and served tables with a forced smile. Lila, her teal scarf neat, pulled her aside. "You're changing things," she said, gesturing to the staff. "We're talking about a union now. 'Cause of you." Aisha's chest warmed, but her phone buzzed mid-shift. A text. "Check your car." Her stomach dropped. She finished her tables, then headed to the parking lot, the evening air sharp. Her car sat under a streetlight, and she froze. A figure in a dark jacket stood beside it, holding a knife. "Sign the apology," he growled, stepping closer. "Langley's orders." Aisha's heart raced. She backed away, voice firm. "I'm not signing anything." The man lunged, blade glinting, but Aisha dodged, her heel catching on the asphalt. She swung her bag, hitting his arm, and sprinted toward the restaurant. The man cursed, retreating into the shadows as Aisha burst through the staff door. Lila caught her eyes wide. "What happened?" "Some guy with a knife," Aisha panted, hand on her chest. "Victoria sent him." Lila grabbed her phone. "We're calling Marcus, now." Aisha nodded, her teal dress clinging to her skin. Marcus answered on the first ring. "I'm on my way," he said, voice clipped. "Don't go back out there." Aisha sank into a chair, the adrenaline fading. Lila stayed close, her voice low. "You're tougher than anyone I know," she said, squeezing Aisha's hand. "We'll get through this." Aisha's phone buzzed again. A photo of Tyson at the park, taken hours ago, with a message. "Last chance." Her breath caught, but she forwarded it to Marcus, fingers trembling. She looked at Lila, her white uniform a beacon in the dim staff room. "They're not stopping," she said, voice hard. "But neither am I." She stood brushing off her dress and stepped back into the restaurant. The clatter of dishes and hum of voices grounded her. Victoria's threats were closing in, but Aisha's fight was far from over. Savannah Holt stood in the newsroom, her gold dress catching the studio lights as she faced the camera. "Tonight, we expose corruption at the top," she said, voice sharp. Aisha Carter watched the broadcast on her phone, her white dress glowing under the dim bulbs of the Sapphire Room's break room. Savannah revealed emails from Marcus Reed's USB, detailing Victoria Langley's multi-million-dollar fraud, shady deals, forced unpaid labor. Clips of Aisha's interview played, her words echoing, "I just wanted to be heard." Aisha's pulse raced as the screen cut to Victoria, in a navy dress, being led from her office in handcuffs. FBI agents flanked her, cameras flashing. The news ticker read, "Tech CEO arrested for fraud." Aisha sank into a chair, relief battling disbelief. Lila Brooks burst in, teal scarf askew. "You see this? You did that," she said, pulling Aisha into a hug. Aisha managed a shaky smile. "We did it." James Whitaker called a press conference in the restaurant's main hall. Aisha stood beside him, her white uniform crisp as reporters crowded in. James, in a navy vest, spoke firmly. "The Sapphire Room stands for respect. No one bullies my team." He announced Respect First, a program to protect staff, and turned to Aisha. "She's our new manager, effective now." Aisha's throat tightened as applause erupted. "This is our fight," she said, voice steady. "Thank you for standing with me." Lila rallied the staff after the conference, her voice fierce. "Aisha showed us we're worth fighting for," she said, pinning a draft of a new reporting system to the break room wall. "No more silent suffering." A waiter nodded, sharing how he'd confronted a rude guest that morning, inspired by Aisha. Others chimed in, their stories weaving a thread of defiance. Aisha's phone pinged. A text from Savannah. "Langley wants to meet. Police station now." Aisha hesitated, then texted back, "I'm coming." She swapped her uniform for a teal coat and drove to the station, her heart pounding. Inside, Victoria sat in a holding room, her red dress faded, face drawn. "You've ruined me," she said, voice low. "Sign this. Say it was a misunderstanding. I'll pay you $200,000. Aisha's fist clenched. "My dignity's not for sale," she said, eyes locked on Victoria's. "You thought you could buy me, but you're wrong." Victoria's jaw twitched, but she said nothing. Aisha turned, leaving her in silence, the weight of victory settling in. She stepped outside, the cool air sharp against her skin, and texted Lila. "It's over." Lila replied, "Proud of you." Back at the Sapphire Room, Savannah arrived, her gold dress a beacon. The story's spreading, she said, showing Aisha posts from other restaurants adopting staff protections, tagged Stand with Aisha. You started a movement. Aisha's chest warmed, but her phone buzzed, cutting through the moment. A text from an unknown number. Power always comes back. Her breath caught, the words chilling her. She showed Lila, who frowned. Someone's trying to scare you, she said, voice firm. We're not letting them. Aisha nodded, slipping the phone away. She joined the staff, helping Lila outline the reporting system. We need a way to track complaints, Aisha said, sketching a flowchart. The team buzzed, ideas flying, anonymous forms, manager training. A hostess shared how she'd rebuffed a creepy guest, her voice bold. Aisha smiled, the group's energy grounding her. As the shift ended, Aisha cleared a table, her teal coat draped over a chair. James approached, his vest slightly unbuttoned. You've changed this place, he said, handing her a key to the manager's office. It's yours now. Aisha took the key, its weight solid in her palm. I won't let you down, she said. She stepped into the night, the restaurant's lights fading behind her. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown text. You won this round. Aisha's stomach twisted, but she deleted it, her teal coat catching the streetlights. She drove to the hospital, finding Tyson in his room, hoodie loose, playing a game. He coughed, weaker than before, and a nurse mentioned a needed test. Aisha grasped his hand, her resolve hardening. Lila texted, We've got your back, always. Aisha tucked her phone away, the hospital's hum steady around her. Victoria was down, but the new threats loomed. Aisha straightened, her white dress beneath the coat a quiet defiance. She wasn't done fighting. Aisha Carter stepped onto the conference stage, her white dress shimmering under the spotlight. The crowd hushed, eyes fixed on her as she gripped the podium. Bravery isn't about being fearless, she said, voice clear. It's about acting anyway. Her words carried, each one deliberate, recounting the night Victoria Langley tried to silence her. The audience leaned forward, some jotting notes, others wiping tears. Aisha's heart raced, but she stood tall, her teal scarf a soft accent against the dress. Off stage, Savannah Holt, in a gold dress, live-streamed the speech, her phone steady. Unsilenced voices trended as servers, bartenders, and cashiers across the country shared their stories of standing up. Aisha paused, scanning the crowd. This isn't just my fight, she said. It's for every worker told to stay quiet. Applause erupted, echoing through the hall. Back at the Sapphire Room, Lila Brooks gathered the staff, her white uniform crisp. Aisha's out there changing the game, she said, taping a new policy to the break room wall. Anonymous reporting for workplace abuse. A waiter grinned, saying he'd called out a rude guest that morning. No fear, Lila nodded. This is our house now. Aisha left the stage to a standing ovation, her phone buzzing with messages. One was from Tyson, in his gray hoodie, now back at school. You're killing it, sis, he texted, with a photo of him holding a basketball. His cough was fading, his smile wide. Aisha's chest warmed, but a new message chilled her. Another Langley's out there. No name, no number. She showed Savannah, who frowned. Someone's trying to rattle you, she said, adjusting her gold dress. But look at this. She pulled up posts from restaurants nationwide, all adopting staff protections, tagged Wanry Unsilenced Voices. You've built something unstoppable. Aisha nodded, slipping the phone away. She returned to the Sapphire Room, where James Whitaker, in a gray vest, handed her a contract. You're not just a manager, he said, voice gruff. You're running our training program. The Sapphire Room would be a hub for teaching workers their rights. Aisha signed, her hands steady. Lila met her in the break room, teal scarf loose. We're official, she said, showing a digital form for reporting abuse, live on the restaurant system. Your fight made this real. A young hostess shared she'd rebuffed a creepy guest, her voice firm. Aisha smiled. You're the ones making it real. Savannah arrived, her gold dress catching the light. We're launching Unsilenced Voices, she said, handing Aisha a flyer for their new organization. It would fund legal aid for workers facing retaliation. James had pledged the first donation, and other restaurants were joining. Aisha traced the flyer's logo, a raised fist, her throat tight. During a quiet shift, Aisha cleared tables, her white uniform pristine. A server approached, shy. I saw your speech, he said. Last week, I told a customer to back off when he got handsy. I'd never have done that before. Aisha nodded, warmth spreading. You did well. As the night wound down, Aisha sat with Lila, sketching plans for unsilenced voices. We'll train workers, connect them with lawyers, Aisha said, her pen moving fast. Lila added, and make sure managers listen. Their voices overlapped, ideas sparking. Aisha's phone buzzed. A letter slipped into her bag, no sender. Another Langley's waiting. Her stomach twisted, but she tucked it away, refusing to flinch. She stepped outside, her white coat glowing under the streetlights, and drove to Tyson's school game. He waved from the court, his hoodie swapped for a jersey, his energy back. Aisha cheered, her voice rising above the crowd. Lila texted, "We're unstoppable, you know that?" Aisha smiled, pocketing her phone. She returned to the restaurant, helping Lila close up, the clatter of dishes a steady rhythm. The letter's words lingered, but Aisha pushed them aside. She locked the doors, her teal scarf catching the moonlight, and walked to her car. The fight wasn't over. New threats loomed, new battles waited, but Aisha stood ready, her white dress a quiet defiance. She glanced at Tyson's photo on her phone, his smile fueling her. Whatever came next, she'd face it, not alone, but with a movement behind her. Thank you for joining Aisha's journey in Speak Up or Stay Silent. Her fight for dignity resonates with us all. What did her story spark in you? Share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. Your voice matters, just like hers. Stay tuned for more stories that inspire and challenge. Until next time, keep standing tall.